Alright, let's do some proportions word problems. Our first question is of the easier variety. Our second question is a little more parsing through the words to figure out what our proportion is. Our first, Mary can read 22 pages in 30 minutes. So I'm just going to write down that proportion, pages over 30 minutes. How many pages can she read during a 3-hour 30 minutes Mariners game? Well, 3 hours 30 minutes is a time. Unfortunately, it's in terms of hours and minutes. I'd rather have it in terms of minutes because that's what my proportion's in terms of. So 3 hours, I have to turn that into minutes by multiplying by 60, and I get 180 minutes. And then I add the 30 there, and so that Mariners game's actually 210 minutes long. So that's going to be my bottom in the proportion. And I want to figure out how many pages Mary can read in that time. So I put an X up there because that's what I'm trying to figure out. So now I just cross multiply. And I get 30x is equal to 22 times 210. Now 22 times 210 is... Ooh, let's go to our good old friend the calculator for this. 22 times 210. It's 4,620. And that's equal to 30x. Now we just divide both sides by 30. And we actually get x is equal to 154 pages. So there aren't very many books that she's going to be finishing in this Mariners game time frame. Alright, our second problem. To determine the number of deer in a forest, a ranger tags 280 of them and releases them back into the wild. Later, he catches 405 total deer, and 45 of them are tagged. How many deer are in the forest? Well, our ratio is he's doing 280 tags out of we don't know how many total. And then when he catches them, there are 405 of them total, and 45 of them are tagged. Alright, next step is I need to say the cross multiplication needs to happen. So 45 times x is equal to 280 times 405, which is a huge number. Now we're just going to divide both sides by 45. And I get x is equal to something. 2,520 deer. And then we go back and check and make sure this makes sense, and it does, because he tags 280 of them. But then he catches them and less of them are tagged, so there's more deer in the forest than 405. And it's significantly more, which is why we end up at 2,520 deer as our total. It's something bigger. So in this section, it's very similar to our proportion section. You're just going to have to create the proportion yourself. It's very important to be careful, and up here we did 20 pages over minutes, and we did pages over minutes here. And down in our second problem, we did tags over the total and tags over the total. So you need to be consistent with how you line up your proportion if you want to get the problem right. If you had swapped these, you would have gotten way fewer deer in the forest, and you would have gotten the answer wrong. So the hard part is really setting up the problem. And that's it.